All right, I'm going to take it back down to the basics here. So Medicare for all, we can talk about how much it's going to cost or the inability of government to manage healthcare effectively for 325 million people. And those topics are fine, and they should end the debate right there. I mean, the idea that a few thousand people making decisions for hundreds of millions of people should be self-evidently absurd and impossible. But I want to bring up something I don't feel is talked about enough, and that is that Medicare for all, or any sort of universal health care for that matter, is unambiguously saying that you must pay for other people's poor decisions. It's one of those disingenuous things that politicians and even people who support Medicare for all do. Whenever they talk about this, they seem to never point out that there are extraordinarily cheap, easy, effective, and readily available options to almost immediately begin improving one's own health that almost anyone can do, and absolutely no government intervention is required. The fact of the matter is that about 40% of Americans are obese or overweight. For whatever reason, if you're not aware, being overweight significantly increases the probability that you become afflicted by a whole myriad of different health defects, illnesses, and ailments. Now, the solution is actually quite simple, and not only is it cheap, it would likely save you money, as you wouldn't be spending so much on food. I'll give you a little example from my own life. I used to eat fast food a lot, and actually isn't the cheapest thing in the world. I would spend $8 to $10 on every meal. Well, when I started eating healthy, I noticed I could buy a big bag of chicken thighs that would last me a week for $8. Or I could get 3 big bags of lettuce for $10, or get a large carton of eggs for a couple bucks. I noticed that I could feed myself for a week with healthy foods for the same amount of money it would cost me to eat fast food for about 2 days. It just takes a little research and a little shopping around. So the reason this happened was because I got fat my freshman and sophomore year of college. I ate terribly, never worked out. It was awful. Then I went home, and everyone who knew me let me know, hey buddy, you got fat. And then of course I was in some pictures over vacation. I saw the pictures and saw my multiple chins, and I said, okay, enough is enough. I did some research on dieting and good exercise routines, and then I went after it, and I didn't stop. I actually became obsessed. And guess what? 6 months later, I was in the best shape of my life. Muscles down the side of my back that I didn't know existed were now visible. Abs that I didn't know I had were visible. All it took was me saying to myself, working out and having a good diet is a part of my life now, period. The point is, almost anyone can do it, and it will drastically decrease the amount of money you will need to spend on any healthcare services, and it'll significantly drop the probability that you end up with some ailment down the line. Anybody inspiring people to put on a pair of shoes and go for a walk, or start eating better, or start counting your calories. Anybody who inspires anyone to do that is doing more than any politician can ever hope to do. And not only that, when that person inspires someone else, they're not demanding anything of you. There is no tax increase, there's no overbloated government imposing rules or regulations upon you, there's no forced extraction of wealth from those who made good decisions and having it being given to those who made poor decisions, because of course there's no better political move than promising to give money to people who don't want to take responsibility for themselves. And this leads me to my next point. I don't particularly care if you want to take care of yourself or not. I think it would be beneficial for you. I would be happy for you if you did. I mean, nobody to my knowledge ever got into shape and became upset over getting into shape. But you do what you want as long as you're not hurting or stealing from anyone else. You do you. But once Medicare for all or some universal healthcare creature is born, now I do have a problem. Because every calorie you eat over your maintenance level that is stored as fat, now I am on the hook to pay for anything that goes wrong with you because of your own irresponsible decision. And I could try and convince you to do the right thing and take care of yourself so I don't have to pay for it. But is your incentive raised or lowered to do the right thing when you're being told by politicians that no matter what you do, you'll always be taken care of? Which is nonsense, by the way. A program like that would implode eventually, as it is doing right now in the NHS. But I digress. Obviously, your incentive is lowered. Politicians are basically telling you that everyone else around you will be forced to clean up the mess that your risky behavior caused. Not a good look, and I'm not into it. But that is it for now. Please like, subscribe, and share this video, and take it easy.